guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my experiences in each of the foster homes I was in and what it was like to come out of the foster care system. I've been in a total of 4 foster homes from what I can remember. I know that I was in foster homes from when I was a baby to when I was 6, but I don't really remember them. The only ones I remember are the ones from when I was 6 to 17 years old. Those are the ones I'll be talking about today. When I was younger, my parents were always moving around. We moved around a lot in Alberta. We also used to live in Alexandria, Ontario at one point. Then we moved to Manitoba, where we were living in a motel for a while, and then we were living in an apartment. Then one day, me and my one older brother and my younger sister were taken away by CFS, which means Child and Family Services, and were put in a foster home in Portage la Prairie. My brother was too old for this foster home because each foster home and foster parents have their own age limits, so my brother got removed and put into a new home. I was really close to my brother. We were only 4 years apart. I was 6 and he was 10, so when he left I was pretty upset that I started to throw a fit because I knew the bigger the fit that they would call my social worker and I'd be put into a new home. So I screamed and threw things around my room and they called my social worker and put her on the phone so she could hear what was going on. So I got louder and louder, and a few days later I was moved into a new home in Shiloh. My sister stayed there for a bit after me and my brother left, but then she was eventually moved into a new home as well. I loved my new home. They had a couple of dogs and cats and also had quads and other kids. We were always going places like the States and quadding. I was 7 when I moved in there. I learned how to drive a quad at 7.5 years old. At 8 years old, I wanted to live with my little sister, so I asked my social worker if it was okay if I lived with my little sister, and they said yes. So I left and went to live with my little sister in Carberry. I enjoyed being with my sister. They also had a lot of dogs, which I loved because I love animals. I was in a sport that I loved, which was figure skating. I also made a couple of lifetime friends. I was there from 8 years old to 13.5 years old. I left because me and my foster parents were always getting into fights and never getting along. I was then moved to Gimli. Foster parents I had when I was 7, the ones I lived with in Shiloh, they just moved to Gimli, so I went back to live with them. I was there from 13.5 to 17 years old. My life was really good there. I had a job and great friends. I ended up meeting a guy and starting to do things I wouldn't normally do, like sneak him in and sneak out at night to see him and steal the car I was given to drive after I got my license. I ended up having to leave because I got pregnant at 17 years old and my foster parents didn't want a baby in the house, and I didn't want to have an abortion or give the baby up for adoption. I wanted to keep the baby. I will talk about my pregnancy and what it was like to find out I was pregnant and how the baby's father reacted and what happened between me and the baby's father and how the birth was in my next video. So my auntie came down from Alberta and got me and brought me to live with her so I could have my baby and get out of the foster care system. So at 17.5 on March 19th, 2018, I went to court with my aunt and she was granted custody of me until I was 18. I was finally free of the foster care system. So that was my experience in the foster care system. So please subscribe to hear more about my life story, both past and present, and what it's like to be a young mom. Give it a like if you enjoyed hearing my story. Comment if you've ever been in foster care or a young mom. I'd love to hear your story. Tune in next week to hear about my teenage pregnancy experience.